not a platform company. The inventory is on their balance sheet. It's a really difficult model, losing $84 million in the first half of this year. Yikes. Been around for a long, long time. Really haven't seen much business model innovation out of Rent the Runway, frankly. Rent the Runway IPO just went public in the past week or so. Opened at a little over $19 a share, is now down, roughly 15%. There's been a lot of hype on this company over the years. A lot of hype, a lot of kind of glitzy names around it. And so now we kind of get to see what the goods are around it. Here's the information's article. No profits, no growth. Rent the Runway valuation hinges on hope. Yikes. Got some teeth here. A little surprising from the information. You would think they would have softened it a little bit, just kind of given the ilk surrounding the company. The pandemic has not been kind to Rent the Runway, sending revenue falling 9% over the first half of the year. Company goes public on Wednesday after pricing its IPO at $21 a share. So it priced it at 21. It opened it in low 19, and now it's actually even down more than 15% if you peg it to the $21. Its revenue was $158 million, so almost a 10x revenue multiple. And the company is not profitable, losing $84 million in the first half of this year. Oh, yikes. It's now probably in the, $700 to $800 million valuation. You take its current share price in the mid-16s. Not a platform business. What they do is they buy inventory and then they rent it. You get dresses and other kind of, fashion clothes. If you're going to a party or a wedding, you don't want to spend $600 on a dress. You can rent it for, I guess, like $200 or $150 or something like that, right? Kind of, I feel like Rent the Runway needs to have a couple turns of the inventory, because they're not buying it for retail if it's a $600 dress, but the couple turns of the inventory, and then hopefully they're paying back that dress, if not making a little bit of money. Once you probably get to 3 or 4 turns, then they're really making good money on the kind of per item basis. But it's not a platform company. The inventory is on their balance sheet. It's a really difficult model. I've always thought that this would be a company that should be trying to embrace a platform model, right? How can it get into, for example, there are these companies, this one, I don't know how they're doing. This one's doing bag, borrow, or steal, which is renting like designer bags, for example, not clothing, where kind of weird to like rent someone's clothing and then give it back to them, right? That doesn't really play the same. But this was an interesting one that if you look at this company as another example here, which is not formally a rental company, right? This company, Rebag, they've raised $100 million in capital over the years. They just raised, kind of a couple times here during COVID. They raised in May of last year, 2020, at $120 million valuation. They just raised another round at $26 million in May of 21. It's secondhand, e-commerce, so sales, buying and selling, which we've covered a lot on the show. How, secondhand clothing and fashion marketplaces are all the rave and are actually becoming their own industry, rather than, there's new and then there's secondhand. And I think this is actually the dawn of an entire new industry, which, you would have hoped that a Rent the Runway would have been on that cutting edge, right? Like, why isn't Rent the Runway capturing the secondhand industry? They've been like the marquee kind of secondhand company, founded, I think, back in like 2009. So been around for a long, long time. Really haven't seen much business model innovation out of Rent the Runway, frankly. You'd think that they would have been able to try some things if they're burning over $100 million a year. This year, burning $80+ million in the first 6 months of the year. That's a heavy burn. So you'd think you'd have some cycles to kind of do some business model innovation. Now, here's the cool thing though, right? So this is on Rebag. Now, so this is on the left here, sell your sell your stuff, get a quick offer. So they're gonna actually buy it and then resell it. Genius. And use their AI to like give you an instant offer. Love that. And then look at this Infinity Exchange. Turn in any rebag purchase within 12 months for credit worth 70 to 80% of its purchase price to put towards your next. I love this, right? I love this. It's saying you buy something secondhand on the site, you sell it back on the site, we'll give you say 70% of the value as a credit, and then you're going to recycle that money back into the platform, right? So as long as you're buying stuff that is holding some of the value, you're not buying like Zara that's going to go bad after you wear it 2 times, but you're buying stuff that retains some amount of the value. You're already buying it secondhand, so it shouldn't have a huge drop off in price unless you've really tarnished the thing, but I'm sure they've got like a quality control mechanism in here. This Infinity Exchange program is basically renting, but not called renting, right? Sell it back within 12 months. Interesting. Get a credit. I mean, it's basically renting, but they put the onus on you to put it back into the platform if you don't want it, yada, yada. I love it. It's basically a renting angle, not calling it renting, recycling all the money within the platform. So has really good lock-in. These are the kinds of things, right, that I'd want to see from a Rent the Runway. These are the kinds of things that if I'm looking at a linear business, which has good tech, good digital, but is hemorrhaging money, growth is like non-existent. They're actually down on growth and blaming COVID because people aren't going out as much. But people aren't going out as much, but secondhand sale marketplaces are booming. So rental is down, but where is the secondhand kind of e-commerce buying and selling play? I mean, this is Rent the Runway site, right? The power of renting. They're all in on renting. You can get a membership. Want a one-time rental? And they're just so stuck in their model. I mean, these guys were high flying in their first 5 years, right? Like they were the darling child of the tech media hype bandwagon. And then they've kind of fallen out of vogue. I do think it would have better served to try out some business model innovation. It's all rental all the way, but I would not put money into this. Say that much. Hi, I'm Alex. Thanks for watching the show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, but even better, make sure to follow us on Odyssey, follow us on Rumble, and text us 203-646-5159. Text the word Monopoly. You'll be subscribed. You'll get updates about when we're going live, our latest videos, and we'll send you even a little goodie bag. And in the event that we all get banned from big tech, we'll still be connected.